Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z Flashback, a series of explorations of the 150 games that make up Atari Flashback Classics for Nintendo Switch. Today's game is Save Mary. This is an Atari 2600 game that was originally intended for release in 1990, but that never actually happened due to Atari wrapping up 2600 operations that year. The game is programmed by Atari veteran Todd Fry, who's best known for his disastrous Pac-Man port on the platform, but he was also responsible for the excellent Atari 8-bit and 5200 versions of Asteroids, which we've previously seen on this series, the Sword Quest series, which we'll come to in a few weeks, and some of the tech that powered the Real Sport series of games that we just finished covering. Fry was working for Nolan Bushnell's company Axlon at the time Save Mary was due for release. A lot of ex-Atari programmers ended up there and produced games for the 2600's second wind. Nolan Bushnell is reportedly quoted as saying that Save Mary was his favourite upcoming 2600 title back in 1990, so it's a shame it never really saw the light of day until many years later. So, let's go play Save Mary.
Okay, here we are once again with Atari Flashback Classics. Today's game is Save Mary, a previously unreleased game that has actually become reasonably well known over the course of the last few years, because this has been re-released a couple of times in some of these compilations like Atari Vault and other Atari Flashback consoles and things. So let's have a look at the manual, such as it is. Really not very much for this one. Save Mary was an Atari prototype game created in 1990 but never released. Mary stands at the bottom of a quarry filling with water. You operate a crane at the top of the screen. Retrieve boxes using the crane and drop them down to Mary to form a platform for her to climb. Once she's high enough, reach down with your crane to lift her to safety. Left and right move the crane, up and down retract and extend it. Press and hold fire to pick up the item the crane is touching, and release the fire button to release the item. And that's it. That's all the documentation you get for this one. So, right. Well, let's give it a go. So, Save Mary, Novice, Standard, Advanced. So, this is a fairly standard practice for Axlon games. You have that sort of nice title screen with the options you can select between rather than having to press game select until you get to game number 57 or whatever. Let's just go for standard mode and see how we get on with that. Alright, so there's Mary down at the bottom, and you'll see these bricks appearing at the side of the screen. And I'm having difficulty already. Oops. How do you pick them up? Oh. I have to hold the button. There we go. Well, we lost a Mary in that process. I should have read the manual properly, shouldn't I? There we go. Right, so what you do then is you drop the bricks down into the pit, and Mary will climb onto them. And so you need to try not to drop stuff on Mary. And you need to help her climb up as much as you can. You see that once she's up, she's up. She doesn't go back down again. So ideally what you want to try and do is get her a reasonably solid base to work with to begin with. And then start building up a nice set of steps for her. But timing is everything, as you can see. Oops. As is careful positioning. Some sort of guideline would be really helpful for that matter. And you'll see all the time that this is going on, the water level is slowly rising as well. So yeah, all you're trying to do is get Mary high up enough that you can nab her with the crane. Oh no! This is why you might want to sort of get a bit of a firmer foundation before you start. Now, there's these other objects that appear at the side as well. Some of those have special effects. Like there is a plug you can get, which stops the water flowing for a little while. In fact, there it is. Let's grab that. Oh, too late. Got to be pretty quick to nab those. But yeah, those are power-ups, basically, and they have various special functions that will help you out. Can't remember what that does. I think you pick it up and drop it up the top, I think, and I think that might just be points, that one. Oh, I've made a mess. Oh, she can hop over the gap. That's alright, then. I forgot she could do that. She cannot hop over that gap. No, 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 no! This is a lot harder than I remember. It's been a while since I played this. I do like this game, though. This is a really nice little puzzler of the kind that we didn't really see very much of on the 2600. I believe there's a 2600 version of Clax, isn't there, and stuff like that, but like there's no 2600 Tetris, I don't think, unless someone's done a homebrew version, which someone almost certainly has, because you know how things are. Right, again, let's get her a nice bit of foundation to work with, and drop stuff from lower as well. Get the plug, get the plug. There we go, and you see that actually stops the water animating for a moment to show you that it's not actively flowing right now. You want to take full advantage of that while you can. Let's get that other one. Doing much better this time now. I remembered that actually dropping the crane down rather than dropping things from a great height is a good way of doing things. Can we reach her yet? Not quite. One more layer. One more layer should do it. Let me just pick her up. And put it down, and we're done. And then you get bonus points for the number of blocks that you use there. So it's actually in your interest to try and build as complicated a tower as you possibly can, because you get more points for that. Now, on this second level, there is a sudden enormous jump in difficulty, because these blocks are much, 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 much more difficult to deal with. As I'm sure you can imagine. Whoops. So with these ones, it's important which kind of block you're using for what. So, again, you want to build up the foundations with these upward facing ones, and then build the downward facing ones on top of them. Again, you need to try and do that reasonably quickly, so you outpace the water somewhat. Again, just making sure Mary has a bit more room to move makes your life a little bit easier, so she's not sort of hopping, skipping and jumping all over the place and getting in your way. Plenty of those plugs though, that's useful. You see much more sort of intricate requirements with these blocks. Much more difficult to deal with. Can that go there? No, it cannot. I may have made an error. Oh no, we're good. So there are some sort of rudimentary physics going on in this game. And I mean rudimentary. But yeah, it does mean that there's certain ways of balancing blocks on other blocks that you can get away with and others that you can't, so you need to familiarise yourself with how all that works. There we go, that's coming along quite nicely. Careful not to wang Mary in the head. Come on, up you go. Gotcha! Hooray! I don't remember if I've ever done that before. Because that level is really tricky. Oh, yes, I have done that before because I remember these bloody blocks. These are similarly a nightmare. As you can probably tell from the way they look. But let's do our best and see how we get on. I'm sure everything will be absolutely fine. Because what could possibly go wrong with awkwardly shaped pieces like this? Nothing, that's what. Okay, so the numbered pieces give you that many 100 points. Because obviously, this game is all about high scores. I say that like it's not. I'm mostly just joking about the fact that this game takes enough concentration to actually achieve anything in. Poorly placed. How about this? Oh god, the water's coming up. Give me a plug, please. Plug would be lovely. Give me a lefty one. And that can go there. Okay, this is going alright so far. It's going alright. Plug! Give it to me! Are the lefty ones always appearing on the left? If so, that's quite helpful. Oh no, no they're not. I thought that would have been a bit too generous. No, they're just randomly appearing on one side or the other. That's not helpful. Yeah, another lefty one. Oh Mary, you're not helping. You're really not helping. I might have fucked this. Yeah. I don't think I can... No, there we go. It's all over. Alright, well, that's Save Mary. Let's have a go at the higher difficulty level. And see what difference that makes. I assume it's just going to make the water rise more quickly, but let's see. Yes, indeed, it looks like that probably is the case. That's going really quickly, actually. Sorry, Mary, I don't fancy your chances much. What does that do? I don't know what that does, but... Oh, it makes Mary stand still for a minute. That's useful. That is useful, actually. Oh, shit. Banged her in the head with it. Yeah, because it's when she's wandering around like a moron that she's the biggest liability, so... What does that do? That gap's too wide to drop a block into. Yeah, so the block needs, I guess, support on both sides, I think, for it to be able to... Oops! For it to be able to land, otherwise it just crumbles into dust. And then your life, as you know it, is over. Yeah, I'm a fan of this game, and it's a shame it didn't see a widespread release, because I think this would have done quite well. Because sort of the early 90s is when people were starting to get familiar with the concept of puzzle games. Like Tetris was showing up and people were getting to grips with that. We were seeing lots of sort of wannabe imitators for Tetris as well. There was like a spate of falling block puzzlers for a while, some of which were really good and some of which were less than good. I've been looking back over some old computer magazines recently, and it's been really interesting to see how people responded to certain games that are really well regarded today, but which could have easily been seen as trying to cash in on popular trends at the time. So for example, I've got an issue of Ace magazine from August of 1990. And there's a little section in that where they're talking about Dr. Mario on the NES and Columns on the Mega Drive. And the consensus is that neither of them are as good as Tetris, but the Dr. Mario is better because it's clearer. Like, they didn't have very complimentary things to say about Columns in particular at all, for some reason. Which is a shame, because Columns is a great game. And it's kind of strange that they didn't like it, really, because Columns is basically just clacks. And Ace like clacks, so in fact they review the Amiga version of clacks in that very same issue and say that they like it very much. So I guess it's just a difference in presentation. Clacks feels like a different game because it's got that sort of 3D perspective going on. What does this do? I don't know, but it turned everything green. And now it's not green. Okay. I think that might be the optimum layout. Leave a little gap. And then drop an upside downy one, which we're not getting. This one. And you can build yourself a nice little pyramid. It's too fast. Too fast, I can't handle it. No! Sorry, Mary. It's just too difficult for me. Yeah, okay. So that is Axon's Save Mary. That's a game I'm very fond of. I first encountered it with, I think Atari Volt was the first time I came across it, possibly on mobile, possibly on PC. I forget which release of it, but yeah, this has had a few re-releases over the years. So it's probably sort of almost made up for the fact that it never came out in 1990. Gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Yeah, it's almost sort of made up for the fact that it never actually came out back in 1990 at this point. because it's become reasonably well known now. People are familiar with it. They know what it is. They know it's a good game. This is quite a well-regarded game from what I can make out online. And as we said in the intro, this was actually one of the games that Nolan Bushnell was most excited about from the upcoming 2600 lineup, which makes it all the more of a pity that it never saw the light of day when it could have been a success. But anyway, we can enjoy it now at least, and that's part of the point of these collections, where we can rediscover some of these old classics or give them a chance when they never had a chance back in the day. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.